work lifestyle has caught fire, and we talk about the rewards and challenges of it. This is the Wandering Worker Podcast with Matt Lloyd.
Welcome to the Wandering Worker Podcast. I am your host, Matt Lloyd. The Wandering Worker is powered by Magic Apple Technology, where we've been saving good businesses from bad phone systems since 2008. Whether you're tuning in from the comfort of your home office, a cafe, or exploring a new corner of the world, this podcast is your compass to navigate the ever-evolving landscape of remote work. We'll uncover invaluable insights, share personal stories, and connect with experts who have mastered the art of wandering while working. And today we're going to do none of that. Absolutely none of it. Today we have our guest today is Marcus Meneese with Stronger Than My Father, a nonprofit that I want to give him an opportunity to talk about. We've done this before. We had Renee Cook on with Every Girl Counts, and I like doing this occasionally. It's a good way to find out what's going on in our area, in our city, and learn something new about a good cause. Before we get started into that, Marcus, we do random 5 questions. Okay.
All right.
So I have this little silly random question generator. I skip over the ones that I think are too dumb, but we'll do our best here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, this isn't dumb. This is new. Pizza or tacos?
Pizza.
Yeah, I think that's an important one.
Yeah.
I like that one. Let's see. That's follows up. No, I'm not going to answer that one. That doesn't make sense. Have you ever saved someone's life?
Yeah, through mentorship. So I guess I'll tell that story as we dive along today.
Okay,
so,
perfect. Yeah. Love it. Do you have a theme song?
Yes. I really like the Rocky theme song when he was running with Apollo.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
That's one that, like, when I go exercise and walk and I'm tired, I listen to that, and it just gets me in a different place where for some reason I got a burst of energy to go walk another mile or two. So yeah.
How old, if you don't mind me asking?
47. I have no problem asking.
So I would think, how many people do you think there's theme song of people our age within a 5-year? It's Eye of the Tiger. Yeah. I would say there's a very large group of population that's their theme song when they want to get pumped up.
Yeah, if you want to get pumped up. Yeah, exactly. If you want to get pumped up and just get your day going, that's something I like listening to just
Absolutely.
to get my day going.
I like that. Yeah. Let's see. These are who are some of your heroes?
Mom and dad.
Yeah.
There's nobody, and I have a few. 2 other guys were great impacts in my life that I worked with when I worked in the factories, but my 2 key ones is mom and dad. I never put nobody over them.
Gotcha. Well, that's good. That's real good.
Yeah.
Who inspires you to be better?
Who inspires me to be better? I really say my mother. My mother is one that got me into this work that I'm doing, who brought me into the work that I was doing. And when I get discouraged, I'm blessed I can pick up the phone and call her, and she can just give you that motherly advice that gives you life. Mm-hmm. So she inspires me a whole lot. Not saying my dad doesn't. I'm never going to discredit my dad, but my dad just gave me the work ethics to work, and become a father, help being a father and a husband. So I would say my mother.
Nice. Very good. And then last question, and I think this thing is kind of picking its own theme here. Yeah. What's the best thing you got from one of your parents?
Love. Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a really good one.
They was very parents that loved, and I think that helps so much a lot when you have 2 parents that love you. Even at my age now, my parents still love me, and any child needs that and want that. No matter how old you are in life, you need that parent's love.
Well, it's definitely nice to know without question that you've got somebody in your corner.
Exactly.
Because as you get older, life does not get easier.
No, it does not. No, it doesn't.
It's a speeding train running out of control that just picks up speed as it goes downhill. So it's like you're constantly wanting to have that support and needing somebody in your corner. So great lead into just tell us a bit about yourself. What's your story? Let us know who Marcus Meneese is.
Well, Marcus is a Nashville native. Mm-hmm. I grew up literally probably 20 minutes from here. Grew up with a solid middle-class family, mom, dad, 2 brothers and a sister. And in 2003, my mother comes to me and says, "Can you mentor your little cousin?" Well, be his big brother. We didn't use the word mentoring. And I'm newly married, been married now for next June to be 23 years. And I looked at my mother and I said, "Where's his dad? Why are you asking me to do it?
Right.
Doesn't he have a father?" And my mother looked me dead in the eye and she said, "He does not have a dad." And so I looked at my mom. I said, "Kids are growing up without dads now?" Because for 27 years, all I knew was fatherhood. I was with my dad. So I told my mom I'm not interested. I'm newly married. I don't have time to pick up kids, and I don't feel like dealing with that. So my mother knew to back off, and then she come back a few months later, and she asked the same question. And I said, "Mom, I just said I don't feel like doing it." And she said, "Well, if you don't do it I need you to do it." And she says the key word, "Do it for your mama." And I said, "All right, Mama, I do."
She pulled her trump card is what she did.
She pulled the trump card on me. Exactly. And so from there, me and my cousin built a father-son relationship. And so when he moved to Dover 3 years later, I looked at my wife. I was like, maybe I can go help another kid. Maybe I can teach them some things that my father taught me. And from there, in 2012, I'm a father now of a 3-year-old. And I used to take him bowling on Saturdays, and my wife bought him a shirt that said "Strong Like Dad." And then one day I'm getting him dressed, and as I'm putting the shirt on him, God whispered in my ear, "Stronger than my father." So I was like, that's catchy, wrote it down, but I kept saying it over and over again. But I was like, I need to do something with this. So my first thought was to do motivated speaking and bring awareness to fatherhood. Then I said within myself, there's a lot of people talking, but there's not a lot of people working.
Right.
So that's what it turned into a nonprofit in 2013. And ever since then, I've been bringing awareness to fatherhood, mentorship, in all kind of facets. We have a program called Strongest Sons where we meet every other Saturday, and we do a service learning or work project. So just this past Saturday, we was teaching the boys how to grill. And as I'm watching
I could have sat in on that one.
Yeah.
I need to learn how to grill.
So as I'm teaching them, I'm reminiscing on when my father sat me and my brothers down, and he taught us how to grill. And I realized the importance of young men who growing up without a father are not getting skills that's going to help them, as we talked about earlier, in life. So that's why I started Strong in My Father 2013. Mentor for 3 years solid from 2013 to 16. Took a break. Started after school, which to this day I don't know why I did it. But I started after school program called Hope Leadership Academy, and that was really a way to help kids with homework, be able to see them on a regular basis, and then because I needed my weekends off. And so what the good part about that is my oldest son at the time was only in first grade, so he was able to come every day.
Right.
He was with Dad. And so I was blessed to pass that on to our program director. And then during the pandemic, when me and my wife would get on each other's nerves, she says, "Won't you go back to mentorship?" She says, "The word strong in my father was never meant for after school. It was meant to serve the fatherless."
Yeah.
And so in 2022, I relaunched Stronger Sons. And like I said, it's been a journey of seeing these boys develop through the ups, the downs, the pain. I realized that with fatherhood and young men, when they don't have their dad, they go through a roller coaster of emotions. And it's so important now more than ever that it's brought up awareness. It's an awareness about it. And I call it the greatest pandemic that no one talks about is the fatherless.
I believe that. 100%.
And when, I couldn't imagine my life doing anything I'm doing if I didn't have my dad. I couldn't be the husband that I am without my father. And so this is why God put in my heart to start it. Like I said, I had a whole nother career path.
Yeah.
Traveling. If God snapped his finger tomorrow, I probably would do that. But I know that my life is needed to help those who don't have a dad.
Yeah.
I have a kid. His name is KJ. He calls me every day, just about every day. And I asked my wife the other day, I said, "Do you think I'm making an impact on his life?" Well, he's calling every day. And she said, "Mark, if you stop talking to that kid tomorrow, his behavior will flip because he's used to you and he wants to hear a male voice validates him."
Yeah. Well, you have to imagine that there would be a massive lack of belonging and purpose for especially a young man without a father.
Exactly.
It's important for both young girls. I'm a father of a young man and a young girl, and I know that that's my main job is to keep them and get them from little to big in one piece. But the lack of belonging that you would feel, I can imagine, is when you were talking about the first mentoring with your cousin, what was some of the big takeaways you got out of that? What was the lesson you learned from that to say, that was really good, I want to do that again?
I just felt sorry. I felt bad. That's really it. I felt bad. I felt like it wasn't fair.
Right. But I mean,
that was a part of me that I just felt it wasn't right. And I think that's why I'm such a big advocate now, because it's not right. A child didn't ask to come into this world without a dad.
Right.
And so that's why I'm really harping on fathers stepping up, because when your child doesn't have a father, he's going to suffer some consequence.
So do you feel that's at least partially the answer to this, is teaching these fathers? And I mean, a lot of this, they're not married probably. It was just, hey, we had this kid and don't know what to do here. And now what do you do? And so is it educating the fathers that, hey, you are important, that you are very vital to this kid that you help bring into the world?
Yes.
You feel like that's a big part of it?
Yeah. If you haven't been fathered by your own father, how you going to know?
Yeah.
It's just like somebody in the tech world that you guys are in. If no one trains you, I can't go in there and do tech work. I can't. My brother can. He does IT work all the time.
Yeah.
But God put mechanisms in people to have sex and to produce kids. That's out there.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you don't know the importance of fatherhood, you would never do it.
Right.
So my father taught me the importance of, when I held my son for the first time, I said, all right, I got to protect you. I got to do everything in my power to protect you and be sure you're safe. And so if a father doesn't know that, they're not going to do it. So you have to almost be trained to know what you have to do. You know what it takes to be a father and put your kids in the best position, the best way you know how. Because there's no playbook on how to be a perfect father.
Right.
So there is no playbook. But you're going to go with what you've been taught.
Yeah, or what you've experienced.
Or what you experienced, or what you've seen in the home. What you've seen through your dad is what you're going to put through your kids. Now, you may tweak some stuff, but I would say 80% of it is going to go 80% of what I do as a father is what I do, what I saw my dad do.
Right.
So his work ethics, getting up in the morning, working. And when we do our mentor sessions, my boys have to be there. So they hate getting up on Saturday at 7 o'clock. I don't care.
Yeah.
You getting up.
Yeah.
And ain't no questions asked. And when we was growing up, my dad had 3 boys. But my dad told us on Saturday morning, and he was a lot rougher than us. He would just cut the light on and walk out the room. Yeah. So you had to make a decision when you was going to get up.
What kind of day are you going to have today?
Yeah.
The kind where he gets mad at you, the kind where you got up and went and did what you're supposed to do.
Well, he told you when I cut that light on, it's time to get up. So he told you in advance. But like my boys, I just walked by and cut the light on. I said, get up, let's go. I ain't going to come over here again. That's all I have to say. And both of my boys get up and they do what they have to do. But the biggest key thing for fathers is what they see in the home. Yeah. I saw my father never curse my mother out. I seen my father never put his hands on my mother. So for me, that's why domestic violence has never been in my home. Yeah. Because I didn't see domestic violence. I started watching television. Yeah. And I was asking my wife questions. Because I was like, people do this stuff? And she was like, what planet are you from? Yeah. Because my parents didn't expose us to violence. My parents didn't expose us to a lot of the bad stuff growing up. So we was really, really sheltered. So I didn't see that. I didn't know seeing somebody come home drunk and falling over. I've never seen that. Yeah. So my dad never come home drunk. So that's what, if fathers out here that live in the inner city and other places, they never got that experience, they don't know. All they know is now what they see on social media. And if you listen to songs and stuff that tells you to go sleep with women, don't give a crap about them and do X, Y, and Z, they're going to do that.
Yeah.
I can listen to that song for 30 days and I'll never do that because I didn't see my father do it.
Right.
So that's why I feel like the question you asked is that they have to be fathered. And it's such a deep conversation that if you don't do it, you don't know.
Yeah.
You'll just lay with women and just produce kids because you think it's fun. But at the end of the day, every time you watch the television and you see a young man, African American, white, whatever, that's between the age of, say, 12, 14, 16, and they're carjacking, have you ever asked yourself, did their father teach them that?
Yeah.
My father never taught me to go carjack nobody.
I'm sure there's some that may have. I don't know, but I would say the majority of it is not the case.
Yeah, exactly. So now what you see kids who are looking for a father.
Yeah.
That's why gangs are called alternative families. They're looking for love. They're looking for acceptance.
That was going to be my next
And that's what
question
happens.
is when you have the lack of father, what do you guys see in your organization is replacing that hole?
Oh, that's a lot, man. I try to get my boys young in my mentorship. I go second grade to really eighth is probably my limit right now because I feel like I have a shot to mold them.
Right.
When parents call me and their kids are 16, it's almost too late.
Yeah.
They have to let life hit them hard for them to really, really listen. It's very, very hard.
Yeah.
And so kids, here's the thing I learned about kids. They're going to learn to be good or bad from somebody.
Yeah.
Your brain is always developing and your brain is always soaking up knowledge from somewhere. If you have a single mom who's busy and they give a child a cell phone and they can look up YouTube, TikTok, and all these things, then what happens is that they think that's right. And if a parent doesn't know what's going in their brain, there we go.
Yeah.
So my oldest son has a cell phone, but he's not allowed on social media.
I'm not a big fan of social media. I've taken it off my phone. I think it's been a huge problem in our country, and I don't think it's going to get any better. And we've got to figure out a way to solve that problem.
That's an easy problem to solve. Don't give your kid a phone.
Exactly.
That's when I see that on television, I said that's not a hard problem to solve.
Yeah.
My son cannot look at TikTok. If I find out he had an account, he gonna have a serious problem on his hand. He already knows it because when my mom bought him a phone back last summer. It came with rules. You break any of the rules, you won't see a phone till you 18.
Yeah.
Till you graduate and go get your own phone. So that he knows the rules up front. And that's but we monitor him. But we also want to let him grow some as well. But for his TikTok and all that, I've talked to kids in middle school that's in 8th grade, and I said, by the raising of hands, how many of you kids have TikTok's account? To my surprise, most of the kids raise their hand.
Really?
Yeah. Raise their hand. So, and this is at a low performance school. So that tells me two things. You value that over reading.
Oh,
you value your cell phone over reading. So when you have kids that's in a different status, that's growing, going to college and going to these areas and being successful, who are you to blame? You can't blame the white man. You can't blame nobody. I ask these kids in the class, how much time have you spent on your phone versus reading? I've asked that. If you spend more time on your phone than reading a book, then you're losing. Unless you're going to become a tech that can create apps to make money. If you can't do that, and you just looking on there for somebody to like you, to look popular, you're going to lose. And there's going to be people that's going to be far advanced that's making it better in their life, and you're going to still be right here. So that's just my 2 cents on social media.
No, I think it's a good 2 cents. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Put it that way. The rim shot, where did that go? There we go. So where do you see your organization going? What are some goals you guys have? What are you guys looking to achieve? Tell me a little bit about that.
Good question. My first part is we're looking to launch Stronger Sons in the Williamson County area.
Okay.
Near the Franklin School. We want to really work in the Franklin School District.
Gotcha.
That's what we're looking to start to grow my second Stronger Sons out there in the fall.
Okay.
That's the goal. So working on fundraising, working on some connections and stuff to build that out in Williamson. And then if God blesses us to land the Tennessee Department of Human Services about to drop a fatherhood grant. So I'm sitting here waiting like a vulture for that grant because it's going to be very competitive. So if we get blessed with that, I want to use the opportunity to teach dads and help father those dads, help them with some of the challenges they're having. If it's through child support, visitation rights, let's help them. Because there are some good dads out here who want to see their child, but sometimes because of the relationship with him and the mother, it turns sour, and now it's a hard time seeing his kid. And then at the end of the day, that kid loses.
Right.
So
it's the kid that ends up suffering.
Yeah, the kid suffers.
Over a lot of times pettiness or whatever that can get in play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So once you have those issues, some dads get discouraged. So we want to be able to help them become better fathers. If God bless me to write my book, I need to write it over the summer. It's trying to help dads make great decisions and avoid the consequences. Because I tell anybody, every day you wake up, you're faced with decisions. Mm-hmm. Every day you wake up. But how many people think about the consequences? Yeah. And if you don't think about the consequences, you're going to go out here and just run and do what you want to do because you're not thinking about the consequences. Me as a father, I do. So when temptation comes my way as a married father and you're like, oh man, I want to go back to my younger days where I feel like I can go take her out and talk to her. And then it leads to intimacy. And then you produce a child. Then you have a whole bunch of problems. Mm-hmm. And at 47, I'm like dealing with all these problems. So if I can avoid many problems as I can, that's how I live my life. And I'm hoping that I can encourage dad. I know if I can help one dad out of how many comes my way, I'm happy. Yeah. That one father decides I'm going to step up and be there for my kid. And that's what I'm an advocate about. It's just really being there for your kids. It's a blessing that I can drop my kid off and pick him up at school every day. Yeah. Some people may seem like that's nothing, but I remember one day I seen my youngest son run to the car, and I heard this one kid say, "Hey, Daddy," and my oldest son was able to say, "Hey, Daddy," too, and he had a big grin on his face. So every day I'm blessed to pick him up. He gets in that car, he is so happy. We play this game of, he grabs a tablet from me. He wants to watch his Netflix cartoons and stuff. But just that time with him, he'll never forget. Yeah. That my father he won't realize till he gets older that my father was there for me. And he knows about fatherhood. At 8 years old, he knows. My youngest is very smart. He knows because he said one time I had to go away and he wouldn't go to sleep. And my wife said, well, your dad's working. But he said, I can't go sleep till Daddy gets home. Told me that. Yeah. And so he ended up having to sleep in the bed with my wife. And then I woke him up and put him in his room when I got home. But he already knows that. Yeah. When he says, I can't go sleep till my dad's home, that's powerful. So, awesome. I'm hoping we can help dads. I've been asked several times, I just haven't pulled the trigger, is to do stuff for girls. So many programs out here doing stuff for girls. I feel like I'd just be in the middle in the mix. But I've been asked several times, will you have a program that helps girls? I spoke at my oldest son's school a couple months ago. And what touched me the most, this young girl said, I wish I had a dad like you. And she broke down crying. Oh. That hit me hard. Yeah, I couldn't do that. I'd be constantly like, all right, what are you doing right now? Let's go. Because they were seeing, because I was talking about the love, because my oldest son was in the audience too. Right. And they knew my oldest son. And I'm talking about fatherhood, decisions, consequences. And this girl said that. And she said, do you have a program for girls? And I was like, no, it's just not my lane. But if God opens that door, I may consider it. Yeah. So those are things I'm trying to do for my program. Just trying to enhance it where we can impact the whole family and just keep bringing the awareness of family structure and those things that helps kids become better. And, no parent should get a call that their kid's acting up in school. Yeah. Those things that when you have a stable family, man, my kids know if Daddy get a call, it better be something good. If I get a call that you acting up in class, I'm coming. Mm-hmm. And they know pain comes with it. They know that. So I'm not an abuser, but they know they're going to be disciplined.
Yeah.
So that's why having that 2-parent home is so important. And I know we live in a day in life that doesn't happen all the time.
You need that balance.
But there you go.
There's things you get from both sides of that are unique.
There you go.
That are required to fill the battery of a child. Got
it. And so on my podcast, somebody mentioned that about having that balance. And that's what me and my wife does. We balance out. She's helping with homework. I'm cooking. Mm-hmm. If I'm helping homework, she said, hey, what are we going to eat for dinner? It's always a balance, never just a one-sided. And the things that kids see at home and my mother said this, is that what kids see at home is how they're going to operate out here in the world. Yeah. So if they see you and your wife always fussing and arguing, they're going to assume that's what we're supposed to do. Yep. So that's why it's important if a couple or a married couple need to argue, do it away from your kids. Mm-hmm. Do it away from your kids. Me and my wife, I'm a debater. I debate you on anything. And my kids think we arguing, but we debating. Me and my wife, she wants to stand on her point.
And sometimes those debates can get very spirited. But it's not a fight, it's a debate. I like that.
So we have to tell my kids, because they thinking that, oh, no, mom and dad's fighting. So my older son will say, break it up. I can't take it no more. And so, because we'll watch TV and debate all day. Yeah. But, what your kids see is so important. So through our program, I just want to be a vessel. A guy that shows that we care. It's tough, it's tough when kids leave your program and they don't want to show up for the sessions. That stuff hurt. Yeah. But one thing my mother told me is that you still keep going. Yeah. The thing for me is that I'm going to keep going. We had 16 kids. If I got 8 there, who 8 they're going to be impacted.
And one of the things you're providing, I think one of the things you're providing is, and the thing that they don't have if they don't have a father is consistency. Yeah. So the fact that you are always there, you're doing your thing, you're not stopping just because somebody walks out the door. You give them an opportunity to walk back in.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to come back, we try to work with you. Yeah. But the point is that at my age, that's all I could give now. Yeah. I can't, call you every single day. Right. But we meet twice a month for at least 3 hours. Yeah. Wow. That's important. That's a lot of time.
It is a lot of time.
So, and sometimes it's longer than that. Yeah. This last Saturday was from 10 to 1. And we did a class with Vanderbilt. And then their medical team does a monthly class. And then we went outside and grilled. Yeah. And I said, all right, let's teach y'all how to pat the hamburgers, get on the grill, control the fire, or you going to eat burnt food. I was messing with them. Yeah. I was teaching them, you got to do it right. But I had somebody else to teach them and, do some extra work with them. And I kind of stayed in the background. But fatherhood is, like I said, it's such a serious topic. And I think sometimes as adults, we suppress it. Yeah. We just want to live out 9 to 5. But I tell everybody all the time, fatherhood going to show up all the time. It's going to show up in how you talk to people, how you act. Fatherhood is going to show up. So,
whether it be the lack of it or the abundance of it, it will show up.
It's going to show up. So when you see 2 kids, I see it a lot with graduations coming up. In May, you see a whole bunch of graduations, and you see the father and the mother together and the kids smiling. That's just a good look, And but I do know we live in a reality that 1 out of 4 kids in a home has a dad. Yeah. 1 out of 4.
That's crazy.
So every 4 houses you pass, there's going to be one biological father running the home. Wow. And if you look at the stats, even beyond that, there's literally over 18 million kids growing up without a father.
We're kind of endangered species, fathers. We need to turn this thing around.
Yeah, all I can do is bring awareness, live my life. Yeah. Because I know I'm under a microscope. Because when you're posting social media and you're fussing about a topic, then people are watching you. Sure. To see if you're going to be on Scoop Nashville saying, I got arrested for something.
Or if you throw a chair off the top of a bar downtown or something like that.
You're going to be on, I knew he was a phony. And people say, people, will put you on a pedestal. Sure. And they would love to see you come down.
A lot of times they do that just solely for the purpose of getting an opportunity to watch you fall. Yeah, because that's the world we live in. Also, to blame a lot with social media.
Yeah, I don't think about that. I think that what I'm doing is bringing awareness. Absolutely. And some of it is tough. Some of it is hard to swallow. Mm-hmm. but it's the truth.
Yeah.
And so I know any day I could stop and just live a normal 9 to 5, go get a 9 to 5 job, pick up my kids, go home, cook, do the same thing the next day. But it's a joy when you can help one.
Yeah.
And that's all my mother told me to do. She said, Marcus, all I need you to do is help one child.
Yeah.
You can't save them all, but help one cross. So that young man that calls me every day, just about every day, you know, and we only talk about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I just say, how's your day? And here's the thing that I've learned to do. I never say KJ. I say, hey, son, how was your day?
Yeah.
I want him to have a sense of what a father would be like if he had a dad at home.
Yeah.
So I say, all right, son, I'll talk to you tomorrow. That's it. And I asked my wife that question. I just said, what if I stopped calling him? And she said it would devastate him.
Well, sure.
Because he had an opportunity to have somebody, and I'm tired when I get home. He calls me between 8 and 8:30 every day. And I said, why you call me? I'm about ready to go to bed. And he said, I am too, but I wanted to call you before I went to bed. So that's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
That's why Strong in My Fathers is to find ways to break the cycle. It's find ways to help kids the best way I can. You know, am I the best mentor out there? Far from it. But here's the thing I know. I told my parents that if you bring your kids to our sessions, I'm going to be there for them.
Yeah.
So if you call me and I need to come to their school and rough them up, I'll be there. All you got to do is call me. And they know I'm coming.
Yeah.
Them kids know Mr. Mark coming. And I have 5 kids I go visit at one school just about every Tuesday and just eat lunch with them for 30 minutes. And they are so excited.
Yeah.
One kid hugs me. He said, Mr. Mark, I love you. Thanks for coming. And I hate the weeks I have to miss due to my schedule.
Yeah.
So even I'm going there tomorrow. So I got a doctor appointment. I got to rush over here. But just having that 30 minutes with kids who doesn't have the solid father in the home, you don't know I don't really know what it does for them.
Yeah.
And I probably never know until I get older. But I had a young man who's on my podcast, and I was with him for 4 years. Yeah. And he left at 18. We didn't talk for a long time. But what he did, he kept saying, he kept looking at my social media, and he saw I was still helping kids. And that touched him. And he said, Marcus, can I come on your podcast and let people know how much you made an impact in my life? And as we was talking, he said, I remember you talking to your son. My son was young. My oldest was young. He said, you would be talking with him about telling him what to do, and then you come fuss at me about staying in school. He said, I watched how you treated your wife. I didn't know that kid was watching me at 14, 15 years old, how I treat him. I didn't know that.
They see everything.
They see everything. So he looked at me. He almost made me cry. It's very hard to make me cry. But he said, you was like a superhero to me. He said, you would get off of work when I was working in the factory, still had my work clothes on, pick him up just to make sure he had football practice and make sure he went here, took him to Ohio for a football camp. You know, got off of work at like 10 o'clock at night. I drove to like 3 in the morning, slept like 3 hours, and then we went to his football camp in Ohio and then drove back. You know, a lot of people don't know that stuff.
No, that's above and beyond.
That's what I do. And for some reason, I do that, and I don't know why. But I just feel bad that you don't have a father that can do these things for you. So let me try to be a replacement and be there for you, and hope that you'll be able to, you know, appreciate somebody in your life. And when you get older and you have children, that you're there for your father, and you can always call upon me as your coach to say, hey, coach, I know I'm struggling in this area. How can I help you? You know, what can you help me? Because even at 47, I still call my dad for advice. Pop, what you think about this and that? And my dad will pick up the phone. Yeah. And if he don't pick up, he gonna call back. And that's what a father's supposed to do. So
yeah, very good, very good. So I'm sold. So how can people help with Stronger Than My Father? Tell me what, I mean, do volunteers? I mean, how can people get involved?
Well, first of all, visit our website at strongerthanmyfather.org. You'll see the big blue or red donation button to give. Yep. Every donation helps us help one young man have a shot at a better life. Gotcha. So donations help. Volunteering, if you want to come to any of the Sons mentoring sessions, there's a volunteer form under Stronger Sons. All you got to do is click on it. That you want to come volunteer and help. You know, I tell people with mentorship, It's not someone you got to call every day, but just show up and impart wisdom in them.
Yeah.
And that helps a whole lot as well. So those are the ways to get involved with us. You can always reach out to me through our contact page. If you want to schedule 1-to-1, grab lunch, learn more about what we're doing and getting involved, just, reach out to me and help us continue to fight the fight and help us break the fatherhood cycle.
Absolutely. Marcus, thank you for being on. It's been a pleasure talking to you and getting to meet you. Please go check out his website and learn more and see how you can help Marcus with his passion, which is amazing. Listen, that's it for another episode of The Wandering Worker. We've hoped you've enjoyed hearing from Marcus today. Make sure you mark your calendar for our next podcast. We'll be diving into the world of The Wandering Worker again. We'd like to thank Magic Apple for bringing you this episode today. If you're not thrilled with your business phone system, or your work from home experience, give us a call. We've been helping people just like you since 2008. I am Matt Lloyd, and until next time, enjoy your week.